If you agree with that sentiment, and if you agree that we need a critical mass of informed citizenry, you will realize that I need you. Please become ambassadors. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Mwebaze Clinton, and today I'm going to be discussing this awesome book. This book, guys, is very powerful. It's called The Bottom Billion by Paul Collier. Man, I've read this book and it has not left me the same. I'm telling you, there are so many things that it has opened my eyes to in terms of Africa, our leadership and everything. And it mainly targets Africa as to why we are poor, why we are still in poverty. And so, guys, join me as I give you a summary of this book. Paul argues that the bottom billion are trapped in poverty due to four main development traps, and escaping them requires targeted, smart, and international intervention. One, the first trap is the conflict trap. So conflict trap, civil wars and coups destroy economies and government. That's one of the conflict trap. Then two of conflict trap. Conflict is both a cause and a consequence of poverty. Two, natural resource trap. Man, every African relates to this very well. We do. It says, resource-rich countries often suffer from corruption, weak institutions, and the Dutch disease, where other sectors shrink through resources over dependency. Man, you have to read about the Dutch disease. It's a very nice theory. It's a very good theory. Three, I love this, and in this book I really enjoyed this. Landlocked with bad neighbors. Everyone has been complaining. Flights around Africa are very expensive. Transport, everything around Africa is very expensive. We are very hostile to our neighbors. We don't want to cooperate with our neighbors, and we make things very hard. So Paul talks about this very well. Geography matters. Countries without access to ports and surrounded by other struggling nations face major trade and developmental challenges. Wow, you see, in this world of fast delivery, fast technology, everything is fast. Every country that does not have access to the waters, to the sea, to the oceans really suffers. A good example is Uganda. In Uganda, we are landlocked and we suffer because of that. And because we are not in good terms with our neighbors, things become very hard. Four, bad governance in a small country. Man, this one. You know, reading these books and other economic books, you just realize how much of our economy in Africa is very small. Like, we are really small. We are being outcompeted by single companies like Apple, Amazon, Walmart. Their GDP just crushes ours. And yet imagine, these are 45 million people working together in different areas, and we still fail to produce as much income as one company, Apple. So when you read this trap, the fourth trap of bad governance in a small country, you really understand. Bad governance in a small country. Poor leadership and institutions keep nations from reforming or attracting investment. We are entering a political season in Uganda. Every serious investor is going to keep their money. They are going to watch the situation. And you know, the news is never nice that comes when we are having elections. So that's unfortunately. And so investors, they keep their distance. Small states are particularly vulnerable because they cannot benefit from the scale. Man, we are very small states. Look at Uganda's size, very small. So, of those four traps, here is the ideas that Paul talks about. He brings about one, aid alone is not enough. Aid is never enough. As it says, it's aid. Aid is just supposed to relieve the pain, so that now you go to do better things. So depending on aid alone, man, we'll never go very far. That's the bad part. So it tells us aid alone is not enough. He adds, it needs to be better targeted and focused on reforms and governance. It needs to be better targeted and based on reforms and governance. Military intervention can sometimes stabilize regions. In this book, Paul brings about a story of how in Sierra Leone, the British sent a very small team to fight the rebels and stabilize the government. And before you know it, the fighting was done overnight. These guys came in at night, Tau Mafia went in, cleared all the guys that needed to be cleared, and by morning, the country was stable. So that way, Paul really emphasizes that type of leader intervention is very good. compared to what we saw in Rwanda, compared to what we saw in Iraq. Man, this book is so rich. This book is so rich. I would advise anyone to learn on this book and read it. I'm telling you, we can spend a whole month just discussing this. Trade policies. Trade policies should help poor countries justify and industrialize. Trade policies should help poor countries justify and industrialize. But our policies, man, we need better policy with better implementations. Last point on key ideas that Paul brings out. International charters and standards can incentivize better governance. You know, a government has the backing of the people. That's why it does what it does. So, but who keeps the government in check when it goes against itself? When the country or institutions are very stubborn, who puts it in place? So in this situation, this is where international standards come. UN, ISO, other international organizations that put a standard and say, you know what, for us, this is how we are going to do it. That is going to force governments in poor countries to respect the law and do what is right, and in the process help their citizens. That was the last point. Paul's goal in this book is to get rich countries stop applying blanket solutions to poverty and start addressing specific traps and keeping the bottom billion stuck. And that's the right advice. Rather than just throwing money on Uganda or any other country, say boom, you have these billions and solve what you need to do. No. Look at those 4 traps. See where you can be. Are you trying to solve landlocked with bad neighbors? With that, you see how to help it. Is it military? Is it bad governance? Is it resources? See where you can take the aid and put it there. And the final thought, guys, final thought on this isn't just about charity, it's about justice, global stability, and smart strategy. If the world ignores these countries, their problems, conflict, diseases, extremism don't stay local, they rip outward. You know the story of the butterfly effect? That one butterfly in the Sahara Desert just does like this, and in the Amazon they feel the effect thousands of miles away. So that's what he's talking about here. That the rich countries should not just give us money and say, oh, solve your problem as charity. No, it should be about justice, global stability, and smart strategy, so that if they help our problems, if our countries are not ignored, it will save theirs in the long run. For example, we're having immigration issues. People are saying because of the wars that have been made in around the world, everyone is running to America. Now America is feeling the pinch of other poor countries being destabilized because they're now coming to the shores. So this is what Paul is talking about here. That guys, let's help these guys. Let's not do charity. So guys, that's my summary on this book, The Bottom Billion. I love this book, guys, and it's very nice. I hope you read it and it helps you. There are many things. I'm going to do another summary of this where I'll touch a bit of the chapters and you see. All right, thank you very much. Like, subscribe, share, and let's discuss books, guys. Let's discuss books. Subscribe. All right.